Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 1st of 2022, and ever since the very end of the Book of Boba Fett and of course the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have been very much intrigued about what Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others around the world really have in store for the Star Wars universe as a whole. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now is that yes, we have a lot of things happening at the same exact time. We have, of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series that's currently getting very much ready to begin its marketing run this month, by the way. And we also have, of course, Star Wars Andor, The Bad Batch Season 2. We also have The Mandalorian Season 3 that's going to wrap up the entire 2022 lineup of Star Wars shows. So 2023 is also going to be packed of new Star Wars TV shows and as well as new announcements coming by Disney and Lucasfilm. We already know that Bob Chapek is pretty much working around the clock in order to really bring Star Wars back on track, to really bring it back to its roots, back to the vision of George Lucas and exactly how he actually visioned George, of course, to become in the Star Wars universe even all the more so. And that's exactly what Chapek is trying to do. He's really trying to give it that authentic feel, if you will, something that the sequel trilogy lacked of. Now, moving on from all of this, one thing that a lot of Star Wars fans have been very much intrigued about has everything to do with actress Gina Carano and the character of Cara Dune. Now, we already know that the character of Cara Dune is pretty much one of those characters that are now considered a rarity, because when you look at all of the merchandise that were taken off store shelves, we'll get into that a little bit later, you can see how that merchandise alone, after all of that happened, really boosted up in value because of how much, people are trying to get their hands on that now. But I digress. On top of all of this, alright, with both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni now developing the Ahsoka Tano series for Disney+, they are also heavily involved with the preparation for new unannounced Star Wars shows that will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration that will debut this May. Now further, it's noted, however, that in a recent interview with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, when she was eventually questioned about her history with Lucasfilm and what she did with actress Gina Carano, she was also questioned about the rehiring talks of Gina Carano as well. Kathleen Kennedy went on to state that the decision I made is something that I still stand by when it went on to involve Miss Carano. It was something that needed to be done quickly and aggressively. Now, many out there did not approve of the way that we handled it, but we had to handle it the way that we did in order to end this as fast as possible. I am, yes, very well aware that Gina is still in the talks with Mr. Favreau and Filoni, along with Bob Chapek, about what's been happening with their discussions of her returning for new projects that are in the lineup right now for the near future. So she goes on to state that, of course, this is Disney's decision and nothing I have control over. However, we over at Lucasfilm would feel it's a big mistake to rehire somebody that wrote the things that they did on social media like Twitter. This is a person that should not be hired again to work on any future Star Wars projects or any other project given that associated with Lucasfilm. So let me just stop right there for 1 second. Now, this is again Kathleen Kennedy not necessarily apologizing about the way that she handled Gina Carano's firing, but still standing by and defending how she handled Gina's firing. Now, in case you guys have no idea how she was really fired, Gina Carano woke up one morning and just went to Twitter, and the Gina Carano fired hashtag was everywhere. And that's exactly how she was pretty much informed on getting fired. In fact, somebody over at Lucasfilm, if you guys watched her interview, accidentally sent her an email about the back and forth conversations of firing her. That's pretty much the only form of communication that Gina Carano got, was an accidental message or email that was sent to her about that conversation. And it just goes to show you, when you think about it like this is how Lucasfilm runs as a company when they want to out somebody or get rid of somebody that they really are very, much trying to get off of social media or trying to put an end to what they're posting on social media. And it's just something that Kathleen Kennedy is not going to really apologize about. Period. The end. She has, kind of halfway apologized before in the past about Gina Carano's firing, but it came off as very phony, it came off as very fake, it really just did not seem in line with a true apology, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Now, on top of all of this, alright, one thing about Kathleen Kennedy is that she goes on to further say, one thing that I can confirm is that bringing Gina back would only cause a greater problem between the fandom and the entire audience. Yes, I am aware that there are many of those who support Miss Carano, and there are many young women who look up to the character Cara Dune. I thought it was a good decision on how we took the character's merchandise off store shelves, in order to focus away from all that trouble. And this is why I say bringing her back would only cause problems. But this is Disney's decision, along with John and Dave's, if they really want to work with her and bring her back. When you look at the lineup of shows that we have for the audience, there is so much potential there that it would be a terrible decision to bring her back to any Star Wars TV show or project that we have in the works. Now, separate from all of this, of what Kathleen Kennedy said, this all alludes to how John and Dave Filoni are having another big meeting with Disney's higher-ups about Gina Carano coming back for The Mandalorian Season 4, and that they have already approved for her return to the Star Wars universe. It's a decision that was made carefully, and very carefully at that, and a choice that Kathleen Kennedy is very unhappy about, as she believes that this is going to end the Star Wars roadmap of shows and movies, and could very well stop the momentum of Star Wars fans from enjoying all of these great stories to come. Now, the new meetings between John, Dave, as well as Disney's higher-ups is set to actually happen by the end of this month, and will actually finalize all of the plans that are currently in the pipeline. Now, here's another thing that I believe a lot of fans absolutely need to know about the Gina Carano situation, is that she is going to be giving a lot more of those major interviews, just like how she did with Ben Shapiro. I believe it was back in March of this year already. That was like a year ago already, can you believe it? But she's going to be giving another big one like that on camera, not like regular interviews that she usually gives, but on camera, unveiling more about Kathleen Kennedy, unveiling more about the employees over at Lucasfilm, and everything associated with what happened behind the scenes of The Mandalorian Season 2, and how she was pretty much fired from Season 3. I mean, they had the character lightly written into Season 3, you know, not necessarily in the script per se, but they had her loosely attached to what her role would be in the 3rd season before she got fired. So we were supposed to have Carano in Season 3 regardless before her firing, and it's quite unfortunate that Kathleen Kennedy still stands by her decision. She doesn't really care about how she did it or why she did it, and honestly, it comes off as very unprofessional. You would think that you would own up to your mistakes, at the very minimum, right? You would own up to your mistakes, admit that you were wrong of the way that you fired her, and some would even, you know, agree of the fact that why she was even fired at all. You know, a lot of fans have their own opinions. There's a lot of, you know, moments where a lot of fans will express that they did not like Carano saying what she said on Twitter. There's also a lot of fans out there that believe that what she wrote on Twitter was not wrong at all. And everybody has their own opinion. That's a part of being human after all, and that's perfectly fine and okay. You know, but at the same exact time, when you see what Pedro Pascal wrote on Twitter, you know, I feel that at the very minimum, either he should have been fired too, or they both shouldn't have been fired. That's how it should have been handled, you know, in that scenario. You know, that's how it's got to be. It's got to be equal in any other scenario when they do something very similar. That's in my book, at least. So, anyways, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.